Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, is sick of Halloween and feels hollow and empty inside until he discovers a new holiday, Christmas. Welcome to Raiders of Lost Podcast. Let's break down and talk about The Nightmare Before Christmas.
This is a Christmas movie. And it's a Halloween movie. It's both.
It's a hybrid.
But it's a movie about Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
So I think it's a Christmas movie.
100%. Christmas is in the title.
Hence the Christmas hat I'm wearing. The Santa
Absolutely.
hat.
You look great.
I look like Santa Claus right now.
Sandy Claus.
I love this movie. It's a childhood classic, childhood favorite of mine. It was funny because we both, I was terrified of it, but I also loved it at the same time. Like I was terrified of Oogie Boogie, and I found it to be kind of disturbing, but I also just loved watching it. And it's really because of the tone, as scary and as messed up the imagery is, whether it be the character designs or the settings and talking about like decapitated heads, there is always a cheerfulness to it. And these scary characters, they're singing, they're having fun, they're very pleasant beings. And so I think that
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Yeah.
Ba, ba, ba.
they're nice. They're nice things. They're nice
Yeah.
people.
They're
So
kind of nice.
So yeah, then you're like, it's not that scary because the tone is so sweet.
It's a jolly Halloween world. But the aesthetic of Tim Burton growing up, he was he still is, but he was such a huge director in the 80s and 90s, doing so many big movies. And then obviously coming up with the idea of the story, writing the original poem, and then working on the script and writing it with Danny Elfman. But then character designs, drawing a lot of them himself. Just his aesthetic is so creepy but intriguing. It's incredibly unique, but you can't help but like watch. Even though you're scared, you can't look away. That's how I felt when I was a kid watching this movie. It came out in 1993, and we saw it so many times in the 90s. But like you said, it terrified me, but I loved it at the same time.
Yeah, this is a VHS we had, and Danny Elfman is such a highlight of this film because he's obviously one of the best and most accomplished film composers working today. But with his singing and the songwriting in this, it's just like seeing him operate with more of his skill set and his utility belt as a full artist, and that's something he never really got to do in other films, to show off his vocal range and to show off his talent with writing lyrics, because he wrote all the music and wrote all the songs as well for this film. So
With Burton.
And it's exceptional what he did.
Yeah. Now, this was directed by Henry Selick. Common misconception, people may think it's directed by Tim Burton, even though it's called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. But Henry Selick directed this film, written by Tim Burton, Michael McDowell, and Caroline Thompson, plus Danny Elfman with a lot of the lyrics. IMDb, The Nightmare Before Christmas, is a 7.9. Rotten Tomatoes, it is 95% critic score, 92% audience score, a runtime of only 76 minutes for the stop-motion feature.
It flies by.
It does. With a budget of $18 million, it grossed $100 million at the box office and has just probably quadrupled that or even more with its VOD sales the last decade or so. But it's just such a popular film to rent.
Yeah, this is how much money did this movie make on DVD sales
Bill?
in the 90s and 2000s?
VHS as well.
VHS, yeah. And now,
Real quick, Academy Award nominations. It had one Best Visual Effects, and this is before Best Animated Feature was even a category. That didn't exist until 2001, and Shrek won the first Best Animated Feature at the Academy Awards. And The Nightmare Before Christmas, it was not even nominated for Best Original Song.
really,
Yeah.
it's one of the highlights of this film is I'm not a huge musical person, but some of the songs in this movie are just like, I hum them, I sing them, especially after watching it. I've been humming the tunes all night, all day.
What's this?
What's that? It's just an amazing set of songs, and so for musicals, this is definitely top tier in terms of like the songs are all iconic and so memorable and so well done.
I think just people in the Academy, they just didn't take animated films seriously at all. Ironically, they still had a short animated feature category, but they didn't have feature-length film. And to have this movie not get a single nomination for music, it's kind of shocking.
Yeah, and this movie really only got made because of Tim Burton's success with Batman, and Batman was such a giant, massive box office hit that Disney was like, what do you want to do? We'll give you the money now. And ironically, he pitched this to Disney before he made Batman, back when he was a Disney animator, and before he even made Beetlejuice. He pitched this idea to Disney, but they thought it was too dark and too grim and too gothic for their brand, so they rejected it. And so after the success of Batman, he went back to the studio, and they're like, yes, we would love this project. Here's $18 million to see this through. And he actually used a lot of the old pitch art that he used when he first sent them the idea back in the early 80s. So ironically, even though they rejected it at first, they ended up funding it after the Batman.
And Tim Burton, when he was at Disney as an animator, he was part of that original Pixar crew. He was in that original room that they were all animating and coming up with these ideas and innovating. And that's why there's that constant reference in every Pixar film, A113. That was the name of the room they were all in.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's in every Pixar movie you can find somewhere an Easter egg of A113. But Tim Burton was part of that crew of people and animators and artists. And like Anthony said, he pitched this idea, but they didn't want to do it. And then he eventually did. He was inspired and wrote the original poem after seeing Halloween merchandise display in a store being taken down and then replaced by a Christmas display. Then the juxtaposition of ghouls and goblins with Santa and his reindeer sparked his imagination. Now, why didn't Tim Burton direct? Let's talk about that.
It's confusing for some people.
Even though his name's on the title, basically.
Yeah.
Because Disney's so obsessed with branding, so they want Tim Burton's name on there for name recognition because he's so popular at the time. He's the biggest director in Hollywood.
So Disney, they released it under Touchstone.
Yeah, they did that, and also Who Framed Roger Rabbit was another Touchstone movie that is essentially a Disney movie, but they released it originally under a different production company because they didn't want to tarnish their brand with something spooky like this. Now, Tim Burton wrote a 3-page poem titled The Nightmare Before Christmas when he was a Disney animator, and then obviously, in addition to what we talked about earlier with the story, he drew inspiration from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and a poem called A Visit from St. Nicholas. So then eventually, like Anthony said, he got the funding to make the movie, so they gave him $18 million in free reign to develop The Nightmare Before Christmas. But because he was contractually obligated to do Batman Returns, which came out in 1992 for Warner Brothers Studios, he asked his friend Henry Selick, with whom he had worked with at Disney, as director. He then stayed on as producer, so Henry Selick directed this film. Heinrichs was pulling double shifts as he was doing Batman Returns, was also doing Nightmare on the Weekends. Burton's original poem can be heard on the 2008 special edition Blu-ray DVD release, narrated by Christopher Lee with the new animated visual accompaniment. Now, Nightmare marked Burton's third consecutive film with a Christmas setting. But again, he couldn't do it because of Batman Returns, and he also didn't want to be involved in the painstakingly slow process of stop motion because he was also going into pre-production on Ed Wood. So he was making movies also in addition to Batman Returns. He was doing Ed Wood and developing that.
Yeah, so even though Henry Selick is the director and spent all the time on set and production, Burton often claims that he is the owner of the story, as it was his idea. He wrote the original poem. He wrote most of the script. He created the characters, and he served as producer. He wanted to direct, but like you said, he was too busy at the time with his other films. And so he did visit the set, Henry Selick said, 5 times over the course of 2 years for about 8 days in total. So he would come for like 2-day trips to check on production, see what was going on.
You know, there's a controversy who owns the rights and who can call it their film. You know, Henry Selick was there on set every single day, and Tim Burton, like you said, only came to set 5 times, and he was not in San Francisco when it was being made. So over 2 years, he showed up 5 times and spent no more than 8 or 10 days total involved on set with the project. So who's it's not a Tim Burton movie, you know, even though,
it's not.
So the rights, the controversy of who owns the rights to this movie is up in the air, even though Disney technically owns the rights, but then whose film is it? Henry Selick's or Tim Burton's? It's sort of one of those weird situations where it's like it could kind of go both ways. Selick directed it, but it is all Tim Burton's idea. So I'm sure that, you know, they both respect each other, but maybe it caused a little strife between them as it got going.
Henry Selick said it's as though he laid the egg, Tim Burton laid the egg, and then it was my job to sit on it and let it hatch. And he wasn't involved in a hands-on way, but his hand is in it. It was my job to make it look like a Tim Burton film, which is not so different from my own films. And then about Burton, Selick claimed that I don't want to take away from him. He was not in San Francisco when we made it. So I think that the creator of the story I think it's right that people understand it's Tim Burton's story, but Selick is the director.
So Burton's, it's his, he owns it.
Yeah.
It's a film by Henry Selick.
I understand why Disney put Burton's name on it because he was so hot at the time after
hot.
Batman. And so I understand why they branded it that way because they wanted to put a brand on it somehow, just not the Disney brand.
They eventually did with that.
Yeah, and so now it's Disney's Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Disney presents.
Yeah, Disney presents Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas because the name Tim Burton sells. So I understand why they did that.
And I love stop motion. And, you know, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is one of my favorite films recently in the animated genre, but I've always been drawn to stop motion because it was popular when we were growing up in the 90s. Like Henry Selick also made James and the Giant Peach, which is another great childhood stop motion I adored. And it took a group of around 100 people 3 years to complete The Nightmare Before Christmas. For 1 second of film, up to 12 stop motion moves had to be made. 2 items were invented to facilitate the filming of the movie. One was a light alarm, which would warn the animators if any stage lights failed to come on. The other was a system that enabled a puppeteer to seamlessly switch to a replacement puppet. If a puppet broke during a shoot, prior to this, either situation, a light failed to come on or a puppet breaking would destroy the shot. There are 4 shots in the entire film that are actually filmed at normal speed, 24 frames per second. Can you guess any of them, Anthony?
2 shots or 2 sequences?
There are 4 shots in the entire film filmed at normal speed, 24 frames per second. So not stop motion.
The silhouette. No.
No.
Wait,
which silhouette?
The Jack singing silhouette.
No.
The final silhouette.
No, none of the silhouettes.
Why'd you say which silhouette?
I know you said silhouette.
Yeah, you said which silhouette.
No, I said which shot.
You said which silhouette, making it seem like one of the silhouettes.
When did I say silhouette?
That's what you said. You said which silhouette.
I think we need to rewind the tapes. I don't think I said.
I'm gonna look at this. You said which
shots, Anthony?
You said which
Sorry,
silhouette.
which 4 shots can you guess are filmed normal speed?
Film normal speed. I would say I don't know. I don't fucking know.
So, one is the opening overhead shot of the trees in the forest.
Oh, the drop down?
Yes. The next one was the fog coming out of the fountain.
Okay.
The next one was the liquid pouring through the holes of Sally's spoon with the frog's breath. Frog's breath. So the soup for Dr. Finkelstein.
Is the melting guy's face one of them?
No. The other one is the bugs falling into the molten pit in Oogie Boogie's lair after Jack undoes the string and thread that's holding his pillowcase to him.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That is pretty smooth looking.
So those are the 4 shots in The Nightmare Before Christmas that were filmed, 24 frames per second, not stop motion.
Oh, interesting. And ironically, Jack Skellington was performed by 2 actors. So Danny Elfman did all of Jack Skellington's singing. However, it was felt that his singing was great, but his speaking voice was too wooden and stiff. So the production hired Chris Sarandon, an actor, who was cast as Jack's speaking voice because he closely matched Elfman's singing voice. So I'm guessing Danny Elfman acting just wasn't quite up to snuff, but his singing is phenomenal because Jack's voice in this is great. And they did get like Chris Sarandon. Like I never knew it was 2 people that played the character.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know unless you actually read that. And I remember Danny Elfman being, from what interview I read, he said I think he was very disappointed that he wasn't able to like act like normally act with the voice acting. But I mean,
some people just like that.
Yeah, ultimately, like it's the director's choice.
He's just gonna
I get it.
He probably has to turn on a switch in his button to get into the character of Jack Skellington. He has to sing.
Yeah, I mean, for he's a singer and he's the lead singer of a band as well, and he has been for decades. So I think that when it comes to music, he's probably so much more expressive than he is without music, which is probably the problem.
Did you know that Jack Skellington also has a cameo in another stop motion movie from the 1990s?
No.
So the stop motion figurine of Jack was used in James and the Giant Peach in 1996, which was also directed by Henry Selick, and he plays Captain Jack in the movie. So Jack Skellington has a cameo as himself, basically, in James and the Giant Peach.
I remember you loved James and the Giant Peach because it had your name in the title.
I really connected with that film. I really did. I think Jamie got me for Christmas a VHS of that movie, and I freaked out.
Probably.
I loved that movie. It's great.
That was a good movie. It's cool.
And the production design is exceptional. You know, Selick described the production design as akin to a pop-up book. In addition, he said, when we reach Halloween Town, it's entirely German expressionism. And you can see that. You know, you can look at those old films from the 1930s, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari or Nosferatu, and you can see that is exact aesthetic and design. And Tim Burton uses that in a lot of his movies. Beetlejuice is essentially a German expressionist production design as well. So I love that aesthetic, as well as when Jack enters Christmas Town. It's an outrageous Dr. Seuss-esque set piece mixed with sort of like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and I really like that aesthetic as well. Plus, when he's delivering presents in the real world, everything is plain, simple, perfectly aligned. So I really enjoy the 3 different looks of this film.
Yeah, it's so creative and so stunning to behold, and it's just endlessly imaginative in each town that we see captured. the tone of that holiday so beautifully. And there's a thing with this film is people want sequels, and the studio was interested in sequels to see the other towns, because we saw Halloween Town, we saw Christmas Town. They both were so awesome. Then we know there's an Easter Town. We know there's a Thanksgiving Town.
Yeah.
There's so many other holidays that they teased from those trees in the middle of the forest. Would you want to see a spinoff of like Thanksgiving Town?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up. There are 7 holiday doors. There's a pumpkin for Halloween Town, a decorated Christmas tree for Christmas Town, a turkey for Thanksgiving Town, a brightly colored egg for Easter Town, a green 4-leafed clover for St. Patrick's Day Town, I guess, a red heart for Valentine's Day Town, and a red and white blue firework that can only be seen at the very beginning for just a few seconds. Now, this door could be for American Independence Day or British Bonfire Night Town.
I'm guessing it's a 4th of July Town.
Goes both ways.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that.
Goes both ways.
I didn't notice the 4th of July one.
So, would I want a sequel, going back to your original question?
Not even a sequel, but a spinoff.
A spinoff. I've always been curious like what the other towns would look like. We got a little glimpse with Easter Bunny comes into play for a few sequences. I don't really want to see anything else besides Christmas Town and Halloween Town. You know, I think that obviously Disney wants sequels to this and they've been trying to do it for decades now, and Tim Burton's always like, no, just take away from the original. But I think part of the magic is not seeing the rest of the towns, because it just adds that bit of intrigue of like, oh, it adds to the mystique, I think. And if you see everything, too much is revealed, and it takes away from the original film, I don't want sequels to this movie.
You know what? I would like to see Thanksgiving Town. Honestly, I'd like to see it. And I mean, actually, you know what? I want to see them all. I want to see what St. Patrick's Day Town looks like. It's a bunch of leprechauns and stuff, and there's pots of gold. I think it'll be fun. It's not going to happen, and I don't think we need it, but I think it would be really fun to see those towns. And I think if it's ever done, like if Tim Burton passes away and Disney's like, let's do sequels or spinoffs. We don't need Jack Skellington in any films. Like, it can just be their own independent stories. I think it would be fun. However, Henry Selick stated that he wanted to do a prequel in 2023. So just a couple months ago in October, he said he wanted to do a prequel to
Origins
about Jack's rise to Pumpkin King, how he became Pumpkin King of Halloween Town. However, the following month in November, Tim Burton claimed that he doesn't want to see any further projects in the universe at all. So I think he's in charge of the property, so he's shutting it down. But I mean, honestly, it would be pretty fun to see Thanksgiving Town.
Okay, that'd be pretty fun. Let's talk about the cast. So obviously we have Chris Sarandon doing the speaking voice, and Elfman doing the singing voice for Jack Skellington, a skeleton known as the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town. And Elfman also voices Barrel, one of the tricksters working for Oogie Boogie, as well as the clown with the tearaway face who rides the unicycle. Catherine O'Hara, who was an old collaborator of Tim Burton. She's also in Beetlejuice and Frankenweenie, I believe. She is Sally, the rag doll in Frankenstein's monster-like creation of Dr. Finkelstein and Jack's love interest. She's a toxicologist who uses various types of poison to liberate herself from the captivity of her father. She's also psychic and has premonitions when anything bad is about to happen. For example, she sees the Christmas tree that lights on fire in her hand, and which is a premonition that Christmas for Jack is going to go bad. And also,
Moira.
She also voices Shock, who's one of those evil tricksters of the kids. So it's Lock, Shock, and what's the other kid? Something.
It's
She plays Shock.
Well, speaking of Locke, Paul Rubens plays Locke.
Yes, who passed away
Pee Wee
recently.
Herman, yeah.
He's obviously famous for Pee Wee Herman. He's also in Batman Returns. Next up, we have William
Who
Hickey.
is he in Batman Returns?
He is... I can't remember.
Let me Google it.
But he's in it. William Hickey as Dr. Finkelstein, who's a mad scientist and the loving but overbearing father of Sally. He's just listed in the credits as evil scientist and only mentioned by name twice in the film. Obviously, just a great analogy, metaphor, or just Easter egg of Dr. Frankenstein. Then we have Glenn Shaddix as the mayor of Halloween Town, an enthusiastic leader who conducts town meetings. His head spins between a happy and sad face, mirroring his wild mood swings. I think it's also a great metaphor for a politician being very two-faced, which is really great. Then we also have...
I think it was perfect metaphor for that. It's one of my favorite parts of the film.
Ken Page as Oogie Boogie, a villainous boogeyman in Halloween Town who has a passion for gambling, as well as jazz, and a rivalry with Jack. We have Ed Ivory as Santa Claus, a.k.a. Sandy Claus.
Claws. You don't have claws at all.
You have hands. The ruler of Christmastown, Santa is responsible for the annual celebration of Christmas, in which he delivers presents to children in the real world. And Ivory also provides the brief narration at the start of the film. Then we have Joel Ramft as Igor, one of Dr. Finkelstein's creations and his lab assistant. So that's the main cast, and everyone does a terrific job with their voice work in this movie.
I adore the cast and I adore the characters. I like how the Frankenstein character makes a monster that looks just like him, but like a female version of him. It's so funny. And the story does have like a really deep meaning behind Jack's inner conflict of Jack's not satisfied with his life anymore. He thinks that it could be better. He's not understanding what truly should be important to him. And he's rejecting his world. He's rejecting his life, and he's looking for something different. And in a way, he's like become depressed with Halloween Town, the repetitiveness of it. He's lost his love for it. And even though in front of other people he pretends to be this excited pumpkin king like he always is, once the holiday's over, he's just fallen into disarray and disillusionment. And so he's going through the struggle of this inner conflict of not being satisfied with life. And so that's why he seeks out something different, something what he thinks is better at first, and something new. And so I think everybody can relate to that, the inner conflict within Jack Skellington.
Yeah, he feels empty inside. He's sick of Halloween. The same thing over and over again. He's empty inside. He doesn't even have to try anymore. He's so good at it. He's the Pumpkin King. He can scare anybody in the real world. And I think it's a great character. The character design's awesome. Did you know that Tim Burton, Henry Selick, obviously gave Jack Skellington no eyes, just these black pits as holes for eyes? Disney, this is one of the biggest things they were pushing back against for the entire production, was Disney wanted to give Jack these very big friendly eyes, but they pushed, and Henry Selick and Tim Burton stood their ground and maintained the presence and the aesthetic of Jack having just bottomless pits for eyes.
It wouldn't have worked with friendly eyes.
Yeah.
They would have, in a way, neutered the tone. Because the thing is, even though, like I said earlier, some of the characters are scary to look at, it's their actions and their personalities that show that they're not monsters and they're not cruel or scary. Like, Jack is so personable and so relatable. He's friendly. He's joyous. He's excitable. And so even though he has a disturbing look to him, he still feels like very warm.
Yeah, and the thing with it is, if obviously eyes help bring life to characters and stop motion characters and puppets. However, there's a whole different tone if you can bring a puppet or a character to life without eyes. If it has no eyes, it's even harder to bring it to life, but it adds so much more life to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And that comes down to the animators really coming up with how he moved the dances. There was a production member who used to be a dancer. She was a trained dancer, so she helped the animators figure out how he would move and how he would dance. And his lanky body made for some really fun dances and interactions with the setting and other characters. And then you just get some iconic imagery. One of the most iconic images in animation history, I gotta say, is Jack with the silhouette of the moon. I think with that curved mound, it's just something that, like, the iconography of this movie, that's the iconography, you know? And for animation, that's always just top-tier image. Like, it's so memorable, it's so legendary, and it will always live on as one of the most incredible images put in animation.
Yeah, and they go to it multiple times. Jack's by himself. There's a scene with him and Sally in front of that silhouette of the moon and everything, as well as at the end of the film when Sandy Claus drops snow on Halloween Town to bring some spirit to them and make sure that everything's cool. Like, we're good, guys. You almost messed up Christmas. You killed a bunch of people almost, but, you know, we're good. Here's some snow. Enjoy yourselves. And then they do it in the snow, which is another great image at the end of the film. So it's a great bookend as well because it happens after Jack's confession basically to himself and his dog Zero that, like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so sick of Halloween.
Did you know that Zero's nose is actually a jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah, it's really
It's
cute.
very cute.
I like Zero.
Where would you rather live, Christmas Town or Halloween Town?
Christmas Town.
Yeah, Christmas Town,
Can't be
too.
that stressed out in Halloween Town. Like, you're probably going to get your arm bit off every day. Halloween Town is scary as hell.
And there's actually a fun little shot of, because I love how they do in the opening of the film, basically this montage of all the characters and we get iconic mythoses, we get, you know, characters or monsters we know and love from other stories. An example is the vampires and they're playing ice hockey. The original version of that scene was they're playing ice hockey So in the movie, they play ice hockey with the jack-o'-lantern as the puck, but the first way they filmed it was they're playing ice hockey with a decapitated head. It was actually Tim Burton's head that they're playing hockey with, and they were going to submit that as the first piece of animation to send to Disney and to Tim Burton to see. But then one of the producers was like, "Oh no, Tim Burton's going to get offended by that. Don't do that. Change it. And
It's
so
Henry Selick.
Yeah, so then they changed it to a pumpkin head, and Henry Selick said he regrets doing the change because he thinks that Tim Burton would have actually found it funny.
Tim Burton said he would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad. It would have been great. It would have been a great Easter egg.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a movie about decapitation anyways. There's multiple heads decapitated in this movie. How about we run to some superlatives and then get to our intermission, and then we'll get back to The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sounds lovely.
Who is the MVP, Anthony, of The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Danny Elfman.
I concur.
I gotta go with Danny Elfman. The music, and Henry Selick did an amazing job. Tim Burton did an amazing job, obviously, and the artists and everyone. But the music is so extraordinary. The singing is fantastic, and the songs are so memorable and iconic. When I think of Nightmare Before Christmas, the music and the sound of it is just as strong as the visuals to me.
Yeah, I mean, the script's excellent, but the lyrics to the songs are exceptional. You know, it really brings it to new heights, and I still think of the songs like every Christmas year, like the songs get in your head. What's this? What's this? There's laughing in the air. It's phenomenal. It's so catchy, and it's insane that it didn't get a nomination for Best Original Song for multiple tracks. But, you know, this is a soundtrack that is insanely popular, some of the most popular music that Danny Elfman's ever created. And it's just his performance, singing as Jack, as well as what he wrote. It's just he's the key to it. He's the key to it.
And the score is amazing.
He's the secret sauce.
It's an amazing score. Great themes.
What is the best or your favorite scene?
Best scene is Jack's discovery of Christmas Town. I love that whole sequence. It's really fun. And I love the song. I just that sequence just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
It's one of my favorite, you know, North Pole or Christmas Town sequences ever.
Yeah.
You know, it's very warm and light because, especially for the first 20 minutes of this movie, we're in Halloween Town. It's dark, it's scary. Even though there's a bunch of people smiling and they're all celebrating, it's still weird and creepy in good ways. But then we get to Halloween Town and you feel like so at home and you feel special. You feel the magic and the nostalgia of every Christmas movie you've ever loved and enjoyed. And the music is great. There's snow and Jack's having the time of his life. He's falls through the snow and his body gets made into like that whole outline of him. And he's inside the snowman dancing around trying to spy on everything.
It's very cute. It's very cute.
Instead of throwing heads, they're throwing snowballs instead of heads. It's really fun.
It really is the first juxtaposition of Christmas and Halloween.
I love it.
It works really well.
And then he sees Santa Claus. He's like,
He's-
"Who's this
ooh."
guy? The leader, the ruler of of Santa of Christmas Town."
The fierce ruler.
My favorite scene is probably when Jack's doing his experimentations. He's trying to understand how Christmas works, and he's got these books he's reading up, and he's trying, like, there's got to be a way to explain this.
He's
And-
boiling candy canes.
yeah, so he pulls out this book. It's called The Scientific Method. And then, yeah, for like a little montage, he's doing experiments at Dr. Finkelstein's headquarters, basically. He's crushing the ornament and putting inside boiling water, and it turns green. That's an interesting reaction, but what does it mean? He cuts open the teddy bear, and he takes the stuffing out with some tongs. He's like,
So
what is
funny.
this? So I love him trying to understand Christmas, which he never can understand Christmas. That's the great irony of the character. And the dilemma with Jack Skellington is he's the Pumpkin King. Halloween is his thing. It's what he's made for. Even though he wants something else right now, he could never understand what the key to Christmas is. He understands spirit, for sure, whether it's Halloween spirit or Christmas spirit. He understands that that's a main component of it, but he can't experience Christmas because he's Jack Skellington. He's the fucking Pumpkin King. He's a skeleton. He could never understand it.
Christmas, the meaning of Christmas to Christmas Town people is what Halloween means to Halloween Town people. And I think that's what he understands by the end, is that Halloween is all he needs and what he's meant to be doing.
Yeah. So it's a great lesson that you got to appreciate what you have.
Appreciate what you have.
To understand what you're what you're good at. If you have passion, just stick to your passions if that's what you want to do. But, you know, it's okay to want other things, but they'll only make you realize what you should
What
be
you
doing.
weren't
know?
noticing to begin with.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what you got until it's gone. That's what every ex says to me. Just kidding.
Damn.
But I think that's my favorite scene. It's really fun. It's
a good
playful, as well as just the mixing of Halloween and Christmas iconography on like this experimental table. It's a blast.
I love how he's decorated his house.
Yeah.
With them Christmas lights and stuff.
Yeah,
It's really funny.
Yeah, streamers everywhere. He's got the Christmas tree. It's really sweet. All right. What is the best shot from The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Jack silhouetted by the moon. We talked about earlier.
Yeah, I
It's,
concur.
like,
When he's
iconic.
walking down and the hill starts to curve and open up for him like a path, it's really incredible.
It's a great shot.
And what I love about stop motion, and there's a bunch of great behind the scenes stuff on Guillermo's Pinocchio, and he's walking around set and all the different size puppets they have. Some are very small, some are insanely small, some are like a foot tall, some are massive. There's a shot of Guillermo holding Pinocchio's head, and it's just like bigger than a volleyball. It's huge. And there's all different puppet sizes made for Jack Skellington in this movie. And they also built the hill as well, and it's huge. There's a great set photo of puppeteers on set and crew. There's like 100 people standing in front of that mountain with the silhouette behind. It's a really incredible shot, but some of the scenes and some of the sets are massive. Some are tiny. Some are, the size of like a table. So it's really cool to see the craft that goes in this that's involved with stop motion.
Yeah, I saw an Oogie Boogie on his set with the neon light, and he was about 1.5 feet tall, the character, and the
sometimes
animator was
smaller.
like, he was like pretty big. It was like a child,
It's really cool. So yeah, I think that's the best shot as well. And
and it looks like all practical. Like there's actually a light behind them. It's just really fantastic.
oh, it is all practical, man. Yeah, 93 kids. It's all on camera. All right, so we concur and agree on the best shots.
I should have concurred.
Should have concurred. Who is the best actor?
Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman is the best actor. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Ironically, he didn't get the acting role.
hate
He got
to-
the singing role.
I hate to be a broken record, but I agree. I mean, his performance is just that good, even though he's doing only the singing. Still, it adds so much to the movie. It really does. It's the key.
And I mean, a lot of what he says is sung.
Yeah, there's like kind of a gray area of sometimes, is that Elfman or is that...
Because sometimes it's like, it's not singing. It's not like, it's just dialogue, but he's singing the dialogue. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's Elfman for sure.
Probably. I'd be curious to see like who had more lines.
I think Elfman had more lines, honestly.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. What is the best line in the movie, Anthony?
My favorite line is from the mayor, who said, "Jack, please, I'm only an elected official here. I can't make decisions by myself." Like, that's a politician right there.
Pretty funny.
I love that. It's hilarious.
Oh,
That's some
politicians.
adult humor in a kid's comedy,
Yeah.
in a kid's movie. You know what I mean?
My favorite line is when Jack meets Santa Claus for the first time. Sandy Claus, in person. What a pleasure to meet you. Why? You have hands. You don't have claws at all.
It's so funny because he built him up to be like this monster.
The ruler of Christmastown. Sandy Claus. Sandy Claus. All right, let's get into our intermission. But before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast is to become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. It is a subscription-based form of support. For as little as $2 a month, you get access to a free weekly bonus episode of the show. On Patreon at minimum $5, you get access to the ad-free experience. You can even listen on Spotify without ads or commercials, breaking up the entertainment of our voices. Also, $10, you get access to our Discord. $25, you get a custom episode. You pick a topic, we'll make an episode just for you. $100 is the Granddaddy package. You become an EP on the main episodes. You also get a private watch party, your own custom episode. Everything. Patreon's the only reason we can do the show full time. At a minimum cost at $2 a month, you get so many great perks. It's essential to us in our success.
Less than a cup of coffee.
It's the only reason Anthony can get his Trader Joe's and pay his
I just
rent.
did a Trader Joe's run yesterday.
It's the only way we can do it, everybody. So thank you to everyone who supports the show on Patreon, and we hope you appreciate all the bonus content you get. You can sign up at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. There's a link in the description of this episode. Just click on that. It'll take you right to our Patreon. You can also leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. They really help us get seen by new people on the platforms. They are integral to the show's growth, just like sharing us word of mouth with your family and friends. It's the best way for a podcast to grow. Share us in your Instagram stories, on Twitter, on YouTube, Facebook, wherever. We repost everything that everyone shares. It's always a blast. But just, share your favorite episode with anyone you love.
Just share it.
Just share it right now. Right now. Share every episode with everybody. Bombard grandma with Raiders of the Lost podcast right now.
This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the number one place to get your posters online today. Be sure to use our promo code Raiders10 at movieposters.com to get 10% off your order right now. They have a huge selection of pretty much every movie and TV show imaginable in their poster library, as well as all sorts of sizes, framing, and even backlighting for your poster needs. They got some great The Nightmare Before Christmas posters, so be sure to get some of those. And the holiday season is upon us.
As it is.
I was going to say upon us, but it's upon us. That's a funny thing to say, upon us. Upon us. Anyways, there's no better gift to get the movie lover in your life than a bunch of great movie posters. And the place to do that, of course, is at movieposters.com. Be sure to use our promo code Raiders10 right now to get 10% off your order immediately.
Immediately.
Immediately!
All right. Let's get into our intermission and start with the movie quote competition. Are you ready, Anthony?
Ready.
A toy is never truly happy until it is loved by a child.
Toy Story.
No.
Toy Story 2.
No.
I don't know.
It is from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, shit.
The classic from 1939.
It's an old movie. Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Something like that.
All right, here's my quote. Bless this highly nutritious, microwavable macaroni and cheese dinner and the people who sold it on sale. Amen.
Is that Talladega Nights? No. Say it again.
Bless this highly nutritious, microwavable macaroni and cheese dinner and the people who sold it on sale. Amen. It's a character by themselves. That's a hint. They're not like a dinner table. It's just by themselves.
I don't know.
Home Alone.
Oh, my gosh. Goodness. That's a good quote.
Yeah.
It's a good line. All right. Guess this movie release year, Anthony. Jingle All the Way.
98.
1996.
Damn. That was a good one.
What are you looking at?
Do you look at that? What year did Home Alone come out?
Home Alone came out the same year as Goodfellas, 1990.
Also the same year of our birth.
Oh, yeah. Big year.
Big year.
Big year.
Home Alone, Goodfellas, the Deveney Boys.
I mean, what else do you need in the world? All right. Movie pop quiz time. And then we'll do some dad trivia as well. Who directed Love Actually?
Fuck. Mike Newell?
No.
Are they well known?
Well, in that genre, I guess I would say that.
Nora Ephron?
No.
I don't know.
Richard Curtis.
I don't know who.
He did About Time.
Okay. I don't know him by name.
He did Bean. He did Notting Hill.
All right. I get it.
He did Four Weddings and a Funeral.
He makes rom-coms. I get it. Richard Curtis.
Red Nose Day, actually.
I don't even know what that is.
Me neither. The Boat That Rocked. Come on, you have to know that. Give me some trivia. Or actually, here, you want some dad trivia?
I got some dad trivia.
Let me go first. So, Dad
trivia.
Did you make your own pop quiz question, though?
I did.
All right, let's do that. So you don't get upset that we forget to do it.
Catherine O'Hara plays Eugene Levy's wife in what show?
Oh, what's it called? The one he's in with his son, right?
Yes.
Fucking.
We were talking about it yesterday.
Oh my gosh. What's it called? Why am I blanking on this right now? I can't think of the name.
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
You gotta watch it. It's really good.
David.
You, David.
I've seen a couple episodes. It's great. All right. So Dad sent us a game of trivia, movie entertainment cards, and we've just been going through them every episode now. It's pretty fun. Thanks for the gift, Dad.
What do you got?
So how about this one? He lives in a garbage can on Sesame Street.
Who lives in a garbage can? It's, what's his fucking name? He was my favorite when I was a kid. Groucho. No. No.
Groucho.
Fuck. I don't know.
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch. Grouch. Different Grouch. Different Grouch.
All right, you do one.
What TV series was hip-hop R&B artist Drake a part of?
Degrassi.
There's more to it than that.
Fucking.
It's not the original Degrassi. It's Degrassi.
Or Degrassi The new empire.
The next generation.
The next
All right, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, man. Come on. I got it right. Give me that for show. What else do we have here? I'll do one. How about, what is the name of Griffin's martini drinking? What is the name of the Griffin's martini drinking dog on Family Guy?
Fuck, what's his name? Shit, I haven't seen this show in so long. Stewie and Peter,
Littering and
Stewie,
littering and
Lois,
smoking the reefer.
Brian.
Brian, it is.
Thanks. I had to name the other characters to get his. Okay. Name the cartoon show that featured a moose and a flying squirrel.
Rocky and Bullwinkle, baby.
That's a good one.
Rocky and Bullwinkle. All right. In what early 90s medical drama did Neil Patrick Harris star as a teen physician?
Dookie Howser.
MD.
Dookie Howser, MD. Some of these are too easy.
Some are too hard, but they're fun.
What's the name of Bugs Bunny's rabbit hunting nemesis?
Oh, it's Wabbit season. Freaking name. Something Sam?
No.
No. It's a good question. I can't think of it.
Elmer Fudd.
Fudd. Oh my God.
What fictional cartoon show is a favorite of the boys on South Park? What's their favorite show? This is a good one.
Say it one more time.
What's the boys on South Park? What's their favorite TV show?
Oh man. Oh, the Canadians. What's it called? The
Lots of farts.
Oh my God. What's the Canadian?
You farted on my face.
Ike? No.
Ike's his brother.
Clarence?
No.
No. Freaking.
It's two names.
I know.
You farted. Ew, Bella. You farted.
What's it called?
Terrence and Phillip.
Terrence and Phillip. They gotta bring that back, man.
Terrence, you farted. That was great. Old school South Park was the best, man.
It was. All right, here's an easy one. On That 70s Show, what was the name of Mila Kunis' character?
Jackie.
Yes, sir. All right, that wraps up our trivia.
Yeah, we did.
Dad trivia?
Dad trivia's done.
Those are fun.
Yeah, those are good. There's a lot of old ones in there, too.
All right. Do you have any haters or unsubscribes, Anthony?
We do.
To hear it.
So first up, we got Liam Hughes, who wrote us a great message on Instagram talking about how much he loves the show. And he wrote, I'm not going to lie. If you guys ever change up your format, I will forever unsubscribe. Thank you all the same. Love you, boys. I'm still going to unsubscribe, FYI. And then on Spotify, on our Tom Cruise movie draft, Jake Wilkerson 115 wrote, because you asked what's your favorite Tom Cruise movie, he wrote, A Few Good Men, and I can't believe it took so long to get drafted. Unsubscribed! I got that as a sleeper. That was a sleeper.
We both had sleepers in that round.
Yeah, I had more sleepers than you, though.
My Christmas draft, I got some sleepers.
Here we go. I mean, you were saying that about Top Gun, man.
On Christmas Day, we're dropping our Christmas movie draft, and goodness, I messed Anthony up in this draft, everybody.
Whoa, you didn't even, no one even voted yet. No one even voted.
I never said they did.
How do you know you messed me up?
Because I fucking have a good team.
You said that about Tom.
I have a good team.
I won 60-40 vote Tom Cruise, and you were talking up your Tom Cruise
It was
team.
not 60-40.
It's 60-40.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's like 45-55.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
That's a
I'm
lie.
pulling it up right now. Let's see. You said
He's going to sacrifice himself.
no, Ron, you can't.
I know it has to be you. Not me. Not Hermione. Yo.
Oh, my God. Anthony, 61%, and James, 38%.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. Definitely not 55-45.
I'm telling you, all the burner accounts you made to vote for yourself really paid off.
It's 110 votes. I think it's pretty glaring that I'm the winner.
You're like Warner Brothers with the Godzilla X Kong movie trailer.
So, but you know what?
Spots.
So let's just call it. There's only 13 hours left to vote. Let's just call it.
Oh, you won. Yeah.
So you owe me $20.
Fuck.
You can Venmo me that right now. Let's do a live Venmo me. Pay me my money.
Fuck you.
Pay that
me.
man his money.
Pay that man his
He
money.
beat me fair and square. Pay that man his money. And another unsubscribed is on Twitter. Dan Beach wrote, "Do you guys realize Empire Strikes Back is not actually directed by George Lucas? Laughing at you arguing about Raiders of the Lost Ark without realizing." Unsubscribed.
That was funny. Yeah, that's true. That did happen.
Well, I still consider it a George Lucas film. That's what I was getting at. You know, it's his story and stuff. And then Jesse Baum on Most Underrated Movies Ever wrote, "Wait, you're criticizing Iron Giant being someone's choice as underrated, but you have Castaway, who won 11 awards and has an 85 to 90% approval rating, as underrated? Also, why isn't Envy with Jack Black and Ben Stiller on the list unsubscribed?" It's kind of a good point.
Good points there.
I think we just love it so much.
No, I haven't. The thing with Castaway is I haven't seen anyone talk about that movie in 15 years.
No, you're right, because part of our decisions was it either had too low of a rating or it just wasn't culturally talked about in the zeitgeist
That's
anymore.
true. We did bring that up, pal.
Yeah.
We did that.
But he does have a good point. It's a loved movie.
It is.
It's a beloved movie.
But I also said it was one of the most successful that year.
Yeah.
When it came
Whereas
out.
The Iron Giant, people often say, is one of the best animated films of all time.
Yes.
You see it on a bunch.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I see a lot of social media posts about it. So
So-
but I don't see any social media posts about Castaway. But I do think, like, when we were talking about Castaway, in the back of my head, I was like, it's a really liked movie, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's really well liked.
Yeah, we just wanted to talk about it. Honestly.
And oh my god, I forgot Envy was a movie
Envy.
with Ben Stiller and Jack Black.
What's that movie about?
Jack Black, one of them is super successful, and the other one's does shit to get back at him or something.
Well, the poster of this movie is pretty silly. So the plot is Tim, played by Ben Stiller, has
It's like a business idea. This one steals it.
he has a chance to invest in Vaporizer,
Yes.
the latest harebrained venture by his friend Nick, Jack Black. While the details are sketchy, Nick claims it's a chemical that can make any substance disappear. Not expecting Vaporizer to amount to much, Tim declines, only to watch the product become enormously profitable. While Tim's life falls apart, Nick gets better, leading to an unspoken tension between the pair until a mysterious J-Man, Christopher Walken, gets involved.
I remember liking it as a kid, but it's a 4.8 on IMDb.
Rachel Weisz is in it too.
Oh my god, I remember this movie clearly now. Clearly remember it.
Holy crap! Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
Amy Poehler's in it.
Oh my god.
That's fun. All right, Anthony, what's your streaming recommendation for this episode?
I recommend Killers of the Flower Moon, which is now on Apple TV. If you didn't get to see it in theaters, check it out now.
I recommend on Max, the one and only Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, baby.
Oh, I gotta start my marathon.
It's Christmas time. I know y'all are marathoning Harry Potter. Everyone does this time of year.
So the thing with the marathon is, do you do it all in one go, like they're all 8 in a row, or do you just do like 2 a week?
Well, you can't. You gotta sleep at some point, man.
No, I mean, like, you make it your next 8 movies to watch, or do you
Gotcha.
do a movie in between? I think I might do like 2 a week until the end of the year.
No, you got time.
Yeah, I could do it 2 or 3 a week.
You'd have to do 3 a week,
Yeah, 3 a week.
which is easy work for you.
I'll probably do it all in one thing.
I could hear you watching another movie after you watched Nightmare Before Christmas last night.
I did.
Like, just watch another movie. Speaking
I watched
of,
A Few Good Men. It was awesome.
Oh, no way. That's incredible, man.
So good.
Speaking of the Nightmare Before Christmas, let's get back into it. And I just love the plot. You know, Jack Skellington, like we've been saying, he's lost his love and his passion for Halloween. He's sick of it. He's empty inside. He feels hollow, just like a skull would. And he's looking for more. He's a little depressed. And then him and Zero, after Halloween, the town's ready for the next year's Halloween. They're getting preparations. The mayor has blueprints.
365 days.
Jack, where are you, Jack? I have to go over these plans with you. We're ready for the next year Halloween. Everyone's so worried because they can't find Jack. He's missing because he's just aimlessly walking in the woods until he stumbles upon, where are we? This is a new place. And he discovers those trees with the different holidays. And he opens the Christmas tree door because he's drawn to the tree. It's the most, elaborate and fun and colorful.
That shot was actually the hardest in the entire production. It was the close-up of his hand turn the doorknob.
It looks incredibly hard.
Because it reflects the background. So they couldn't, like every other shot on the other side of the camera is the crew and just the set, the like soundstage. But in that shot, they had to both capture what the camera was looking at and then show behind it more of the set. So that was actually the hardest shot they had to get without revealing anything about the production.
But goodness, it looks good. I always pick up on that shot. I'm like, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
In
It's
terms
like
of
the
stop
Matrix
motion.
doorknob shot.
Yeah. And then he enters Christmas Town. He falls in love immediately. And then he eventually gets back to Halloween Town, and he has plans for taking over Christmas. He's going to give Sandy Claus a break from the holiday. His passion is reignited, so he basically spends the plot trying to understand Christmas and trying to figure out how can we, as Halloween Town, do Christmas ourselves.
And also, he's obsessed with trying to capture the feeling of Christmas in Halloween Town, which obviously ends up not working because they're different holidays, and they don't belong to be meshed together. Halloween doesn't belong in Christmas, as we see later in the film, and then Christmas doesn't belong in Halloween. And so it takes Jack's story to understand that he doesn't need Christmas to feel fulfilled again.
And it's exciting to be a fish out of water, be reinvigorated with passion again. But a fish isn't meant to be on land, just like Jack's not meant to be doing Christmas. And they have this great plan for Christmas where they're trying to kidnap the Sandy Claus, and the kids accidentally kidnap the Easter Bunny. He's like, I'm really sorry about this, sir. Get him back to his place and be nice. And they eventually kidnap Sandy Claus, and Jack's so ecstatic to meet him. And Sally, she's sort of the voice of reason. She's in love with Jack. And obviously they have beautiful romance by the end of the film.
I love how she makes him that wine with the butterfly smoke.
Sweet.
It's
and
very sweet.
The aroma is a butterfly, and the smoke comes out of the bottle. It's really cute. But Sandy, she has premonitions, and she has a premonition of basically Christmas failing. She holds that stick in Halloween Town. It's after she gives Jack that little basket,
Yeah.
and the stick turns into a Christmas tree, and it's really beautiful, but then it gets lit on fire and turns to ash. Basically a vision that Christmas is going to fail.
She also was doing, she doesn't say it out loud, but she was doing that game that girls do often of peeling the roses from a petal of a flower. Peeling the petal of a flower. He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. I imagine that's what she's saying in her head when she's peeling the leaves off of that shrub.
Have you ever done that?
I think I've done it, yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid.
I think I've done
when
it.
you have that crush on the girl in 4th grade, and you're like, will she ever notice me?
This will determine. This makes total sense.
It's like an 8 ball. Like,
Yeah.
probably not, bro. There should be a new 8 ball where it's funny response, like, probably not, bro. Like, give up.
You're not that guy.
You're a loser. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy.
My new favorite reference. You're not that guy. Which episode did it a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we just did it yesterday.
Godzilla?
Yeah.
You're not that guy.
I can't remember what we were talking about, but it was really you'll all find out if you listen to the Godzilla one. It was fucking hysterical.
But I love the prep of getting ready for Christmas. They kidnap Sandy Claus. He's with the Oogie Boogie, who's basically like this crazy torture guy. And
Is there anything? It's still disturbing when he gets torn open and he's just all bugs.
it reminds me of Constantine.
Yeah, it still makes my stomach turn.
Yeah.
It's really messed up.
But Jack, he's doing his experiments. He's trying to discover what Christmas is all about. He's trying to figure out a way to explain everyone in Halloween Town. And they all kind of are on board. They get the gist, like, oh yeah, let's do Christmas. We can do this for sure. But they have to do it real quick because it's just coming up
2
around
days,
the corner.
yeah.
And so they have like a month to prepare, basically. And I love how their idea of giving gifts is just giving a Halloween gift. So they're giving ghouls and decapitated heads and all these monsters to all these kids. And then after Sandy Claus gets kidnapped by the kids, Jack has the elf. He's like, there's something missing. I have the suit. I have the beard. And then he meets Sandy Claus with the hat. That's what I'm missing. I'm the hat. So thank you. You can just use this as a vacation.
Take a load off.
Take a break from Christmas this year, Sandy Claus.
And Jack's body couldn't be more different from Santa Claus. He's tall and skinny, and nothing fits him. And it's just it's scary. It's a scary contradiction. And when he's delivering presents to the kids in Christmas Town, like there's that one boy who's like very scared of him, but he thinks it's Santa Claus.
Still got a gift.
He gets shot down by the fucking missiles.
It's intense. And I like how this world, Santa Claus is being tracked. Oh, we've spotted Santa Claus. He's at supersonic speed. He's starting to deliver presents.
Yeah, like the news. Yeah.
And then the reports start coming in of toys attacking everybody in their homes. I will say, in 1993, this movie does a great job of representation and diversity. Every home is a different race. It's really great.
Yeah,
We have a white family, we have a black family, we have an Asian family. They do a ton of diversity in the real world. And this is 1993, so kudos to the production for putting that in this early, because we just talked about American Pie a couple weeks ago, which is a great movie, but in 1999, the main cast is 12 white people, and then John Cho is the MILF guy.
They didn't do a good job.
So I will say 1993, great job with representation in this film.
Yeah, great point, man.
Yeah.
Really fun.
I know something. I'm like, oh, this is really great.
Yeah, that's a good
awesome
point.
stuff. And then obviously, like, the military's getting involved because Jack is just causing mayhem around the world and in this neighborhood in this city, and they freaking shoot him down with a missile. Military action against Santa Claus, or the Santa Claus imposter is taken to the skies.
Was this the first multiverse movie?
Whoa.
Was The Nightmare Before Christmas the first movie to do the multiverse? Because we have all of these different verses.
That's an interesting point.
I think that this started multiverse.
You know, I'd have to look into it because I wonder what the first multiverse movie is. Let me Google that right now.
Because we get every holiday town. I think of it's a different verse. It's not like a location, because you go through this portal. The door is a portal. It's like a wormhole, essentially, that brings you into a different universe. So every holiday town is its own separate universe. So technically, The Nightmare Before Christmas, I think, is the first multiverse movie.
I mean, that's really interesting because when it comes to multiverses or like a parallel universe,
Yeah.
you could even go back as far as The Wizard of Oz is kind of an alternate verse.
But that's more of a dream.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the thing. So
It's a dream.
you can interpret it as a multiverse, but I wouldn't really like this because multiverse probably has to be more than two.
Yeah.
So that's why that's a good point.
And there's like a way to enter and exit them. And Jack uses both the doors, and also he uses the tomb in there's a tomb doorway. The tomb in Christmas Town in the cemetery is the entrance, and the exit is the one of the tombs in Halloween Town. So The Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm saying it right now, it's the first multiverse movie ever.
We have to look that up, but it could be.
I can't
It
think of
could
anything that
be.
came before it.
Marvel's like, fuck, they're on to us. And, you know, Jack gets shot down. And I like how his sleigh is a coffin.
Yeah.
And
the reindeer skeletons.
yeah,
It's
and then
great.
Zero with his jack-o'-lantern nose.
But they even did the Santa Claus myth of like, oh, it was too foggy. We can't take off in this clouds, in this fog.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, and then Zero comes out with the nose, and it's like, that's the lore of the story, yeah.
And so Jack gets shot down, and, you know, he's at his lowest point. But then, you know, he realizes, with the help of obviously Sally, that I am the Pumpkin King. I'm fucking badass. I am scary as hell. I was born to be the Pumpkin King, and I've been disillusioned with what I wanted. I wanted something else, but I didn't realize that I had everything I need here to be who I truly am. And he embraces it. I am Jack, the Pumpkin King.
Yeah.
And he's like, Christmas isn't over, and we have time to set this right. So let me go get Sandy Claus from the dungeons with Boogeyman. He battles the Boogie Oogie, which is really fun. It's
Yeah,
like,
the Oogie Boogie fight is great. I love the neon lighting, the
It's cool.
black light neon lighting. It's fantastic.
Oogie Boogie is a great engineer, I'm going to say. He's got all kinds of mechanical traps
He was
for
just
torture.
waiting for this.
But, like, he's ready to go. He's got, like, 4 stages of mechanical...
Of combat.
Yeah, of defenses. He's got like, cards with swords. He's got guns. He's got a giant table saw. He's legit, man.
He's got a pit of lava.
That guy should be working at MIT.
Can't believe he built all this.
I know, right? With the scraps. Tony, the Oogie Boogie built this in a dungeon with scraps.
I'm not Oogie Boogie. That was on at the gym yesterday. Iron Man, yeah. It's actually awesome. It's great. I was like, this is a fucking great movie.
And so he defeats the Oogie Boogie and gets Sandy Claus. He apologizes, Mr. Sandy Claus, I've made a mess of your holiday. I'm so sorry. I hope it's not too late to put it right. And Sandy Claus is pissed off, obviously, stomps on the remaining bugs. But he's like, basically like, bruh, it's cool. We got time.
I'm Santa Claus. I got this.
I'm Sandy Claus, man. I can do anything. So he replaces all the presents in time to bring Christmas back to the world and bring Christmas spirit and cheer back and save the day. And then to make sure that there's no beef amongst anybody, you know, Halloween Town and Sandy Claus, Christmas Town, we don't need no war. So he drops snow everywhere. And it's a beautiful way of saying, you know, it's cool, man. And
I love all
let me bring
Halloween
spirit to you.
All the Halloween monsters are just like making snow angels and playing in the snow. It's really cute.
Yeah, so Sandy Claus brings Christmas spirit to Halloween Town.
Although, I mean, if you live in New England, you're gonna get snow on Halloween. And that's gonna happen.
Sometimes, man. Sometimes some of the worst blizzards we've ever experienced were in October.
Yeah, there's some big ones in October.
It was wild. But it's a great ending, and I love the aesthetic of snow in Halloween Town.
It's just got a really fun, romantic, touching ending with him and Sally in the silhouette of the moon, and they embrace and kiss, and then we fade away. It's really just beautiful, perfect ending and conclusion.
Yeah, because it's up in the air. Is Christmas going to be canceled? Christmas is canceled, everybody. News report, it's over.
Oh, no, Santa Claus saved it. He saved it. That's how I think of it.
This movie's just so fun. I love it. I love it. I love it. The aesthetic, the tone, the music. It's just an iconic film. It's timeless. I'll be watching this when I'm an old man, you know?
By yourself?
No, I'll have a family of loved ones that appreciate me, man. It'll be you and Juno's tombstone.
What?
No, you'll make you'll get a taxidermy Juno.
You make me out to be like a crazy cat person.
Yeah, he's gonna
I didn't even want to get Juno. It wasn't even my idea.
You're gonna taxidermy Juno, and you guys are gonna cuddle every.
You act like you don't cuddle and hug and kiss him every day.
He was obsessed with me last night. He would not leave me alone, man. We had a photo shoot.
You act like you.
You're
the one who
gonna
said
look at these photos.
You said selfies of you and Juno hugging, basically.
You're gonna look at these. They're super cute.
Face against face.
Like he was all over me last night. Just Juno just on my face.
Face on face.
Then, like he's just having the best, having the time of his life. I'll put these up on YouTube.
Oh
so
my
if you
God.
want to watch, or on Spotify, you can see.
Oh my God,
Juno just cuddled me last night. He was obsessed with me. Like when it's chilly outside, he just loves to cuddle.
Yeah, wintertime, he's up there in the bed.
This is my favorite one. Look at his face. I was using his head as a pillow.
Pure. He's like, well, get off me. He does not like that. I've tried.
No, he liked it. He was like that for like 5 minutes straight.
Oh, really?
His skin was like pulled back.
Anyways.
Allora.
I will not taxidermy a dead animal. I can't do that. It's too weird.
Well, that wraps our episode on Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, unless you have anything else.
That's all I got, man.
Thank you
It's a
so much
great
for
film.
tuning in. You know,
9 out of 10.
Christmas is next week. It's on Monday.
What was your letterbox rating?
4.5.
Same.
And I adore this film. So we're going to be, this was our first Christmas episode leading up to our Christmas draft, which will post on Christmas Day on Monday. Don't miss that one as well. But, you know, we had to do this one. We've never done a solo episode on it. And it's just a childhood classic from us growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. An annual watch for us, pretty much. And we adore it. I know a lot of you do as well. So I hope you enjoyed this episode on The Nightmare Before Christmas on Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Again, the best way to support the show and to spread Christmas cheer is to become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. A link is in the description of this episode. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple, as well as share us with your family and friends. Take care, everybody.
See you next time.
What's this?
What's that?
This?
Merry Christmas.
This episode was executive produced by our chosen one patrons, Cody Moen, Andrew Hagan, Benjamin Cook, Calvin Murphy Griggs, Darian, Tyler McFly, and Sal Koching. Our chosen one patrons are our biggest supporters. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, notifications for sure. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you can listen to podcasts, and be sure to check out this other content we have on our YouTube channel.